attack head on.
What's up, y'all? We back at it, and Kaiju number 8 has finally returned with chapter 125. In case you don't know, we had like a whole month break before we got this chapter, and it was real out here. We wanted to see what happened. Kikoru just unlocked her new numbers weapon, One Eyes, and I wanted to see what she was gonna do with it, but you know what I'm saying? We had to wait a month before we got this chapter. And it's crazy. It doesn't matter how many pages you get in Kaiju number 8 chapters, it always go by so fast. And when you get to that last panel, you're like, this last page? Man, this must have been a short chapter. Then you go count the pages and you realize, like, nah, this is as long as they always are. It just went by that damn fast. Like, yo, this chapter was, it was over that quickly, man. But I did enjoy this chapter. It was a solid, I'll say a 9 out of 10 in my opinion. You guys can let me know y'all rating down below. But there are a few things I got questions for, and there's a couple things that I would have liked for them to add, and maybe it will happen in the upcoming chapters. I just don't know. But in this battle, this final battle with the ancient kaiju, and you got everybody working to take down these, to take down this ancient kaiju. I really want Reno to be involved, and I get it. In the last chapter, this ancient kaiju used number 9 abilities to make the, other kaijus return from the dead. And so you got a lot of the Defense Force members busy taking down these corpses, and they're already exhausted. So I imagine Reno is helping out in that type of situation. But I would still like Reno to serve some type of purpose in this battle with the ancient kaiju. Maybe it frees it in place long enough for them to penetrate the core. Maybe something like as simple as that. I just want Reno to be involved because I feel like out of everybody, he's trained and worked so hard to get to the point where he could stand by Kafka's side. For him not to be involved in this final battle, I'm a little disappointed in that. But like I said, it might be something that changed in the future chapters. The battle is still ongoing, so it could happen. But I would like for that to happen. And maybe I'm the only one who feel like that. If you guys want Reno to actually join the battle, let me know down below, because maybe it's just me who feel like that. Be like, yo, Nero, you bugging. I like it the way it is. Let me know. Now, with that being said, after reading this chapter, the one thing I want to know is, was Kikoru's mother stronger than the general at the point of her death? Like, I know eventually they said the general became the strongest person to ever be in the Defense Force, but I wonder at the point of her death, who was the strongest between them two? Just based on what we get in this chapter right here that we're about to dive into, I'm just curious who was the strongest between the mother and the father, because the way she was talking, or the stuff we get in this chapter, leads me to believe that the mom was stronger at that point in time. And then once she died, it made the general, go all out and become stronger and stronger so that he could protect his daughter and the things that he considered to be important to him. Now, I'm just really curious about that. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. But we about to get into this chapter, man. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for all notifications, man. But the chapter starts off where you got your girl Kikoru embracing her new numbers weapon 1, the retina eyes, and she's doing it to locate the core on this kaiju so that Kafka could take it down. And she's pretty much observing everything that's going on, and she's saying like, yo, I swear I will get you out of there, daddy, just hold tight. Now, like I said, I don't think the general's coming back, especially with that scene where they show him falling into the dark abyss. And I know how all these different kaijus that's absorbed into this ancient kaiju still kind of seem like they are alive, or they still have somewhat of a presence, like when we seen Mina go, somewhat get assimilated before she broke free. So there's a chance her father is in there, but I don't think he's walking away from this alive. I think it's going to turn out to be a situation where maybe they defeat this ancient kaiju, and the father, a part of him might fall out, and it might speak, but at some point in time, he's going to die. He's going to fade away. I believe something like that's going to go down, and he's going to share his last words with his family, with Kafka, and then he's going to go. That's just my thoughts on how it's going to end for the general, but it could turn out another way. I just don't see it going another way. I'm gonna be real with you guys. But of course, you got it where your boy Kafka, he's hitting the kaiju with strong attacks, this ancient kaiju with strong attacks, and then every time this ancient kaiju do the ruin attack where it pretty much rips you apart, every time he locks on Kafka and put that on him, you have it where your girl Kikoru locates where the target, where the attack is being sent from. She destroys it. That way the attack misses Kafka, and I love the teamwork. I love seeing these guys fight side by side. And also, while this is going on, you got it where they show Hoshina, and Hoshina is actually taking down some of the some of these kaijus that came back to life due to number 9 abilities being in play. And I like the fact that Hoshina is still on the battlefield doing this damn thing. Now, I'm assuming that your boy Gin is still too injured. He got stabbed near the heart, and he's still recovering, so he's not able to move, because we don't see him at all in this chapter. But of course, you got it where Kafka managed to dodge the attack thanks to Kikoru, blasting the portion from the attack, or the part of the body that was going to attack. And then you have it where Kafka does a punch. Both of their punches collide, so you got this giant fist from the kaiju, the ancient kaiju, colliding with Kafka's fist, which is the size of an average human. And just the fact that Kafka is able to stop his punch mid-air, it just shows how powerful Kafka has became. And I love it, man. The way how strong he is right now, I don't think no other kaiju can actually be a threat. So if the series does continue, it's going to have to be kaiju that's even more powerful than this ancient kaiju. And with that being said, that means a lot of the defense force soldiers are going to have to get even stronger in order to compete with them, in order to make it where Kafka isn't the end all be all, as far as we got to go to him every time we get into a battle. But anyway, while that's going on, you got it where everyone's noticing, they're saying Kafka attacks, or number 8 attacks, are very effective against this kaiju. And then next thing you know, you got it where Kikoru, she's flying around trying to locate the core. And then you have it where the scientist that's in the office, they're saying, her body is already overheating, but it's way too early for that. And I didn't even think of there could be a possible drawback for using number weapons. I knew about the whole shortening your life thing, because we heard that in the previous chapters, but I didn't think of any other drawback other than shortening your life. But you got it where, Hoshina says it's only natural. She doesn't have the proficiency of a captain. And then on top of that, she's using 2 number weapons at the same time. And up until this point, we've never seen someone do that. She's the first person we've ever seen to use 2 number weapons. And because of that, it's causing her max out time to be shortened. I didn't even consider that to be an issue, to be something that could happen. But now that it's happening, it does make sense. She's having the burden of 2 number weapons on her body as opposed to 1. So where you have people like Hoshina and them who's able to do it max out for about 10 minutes, it seems as if Kikoru was only able to do 5 minutes, and maybe even less than that, But of course, while that's going on, you got Kafka as well as Hoshina thinking she won't last too much longer. And they're thinking man, you have it where this ancient kaiju is using, number 9's abilities, and it's probably condensed a shield around its core to protect it, which is pretty smart. Number 9 was always a very intelligent person, and you see that this ancient kaiju is using the intelligence that it gained from number 9 to use, to counter attack and also protect itself from being hurt. And you got it where Kafka saying we just need to use a huge amount of power on the weak spot to actually break through it and get to the core. And of course, they're like, how are we going to expose the core? And then that's when you have Mina say I'll shoot it down. She's going to shoot it down with the giant railgun that she used against, I believe it was Kaiju number 14. She used it on the one the floating statue. I might be mixing the numbers up. I do apologize if I'm mixing it up. But I believe it was number 14 or 15. I know one of those numbers is the one that Kikoru fought, but I want to say it was number 14 that she shot down with the railgun. But she's heading on her way there. And I imagine in the previous chapter when we heard her talking to old girl saying she needed a favor, the favor probably was to have that gun charged up by the time she get to it. So you got it where she's running to that location, and they're trying to buy time and trying to push this ancient kaiju in the path and the target zone of this railgun. And while that's going on, of course, you got Kikoru. She's flying around, she's focusing on all the signals, trying to locate the core within this kaiju. And as she's doing that, she's seeing a lot of decoys cores from the previous kaijus that were collected by this ancient kaiju, which is insane to think. And when you see this panel where you see all these different cores, it just shows you how many monsters is collected over time, which is kind of sad because I imagine these guys didn't want to be absorbed and turned into what they are now. So it's kind of sad. So she's trying to focus and avoid the these decoys and find the true core. And as she's looking, you see her percentage power, her combat unleashed power is dropping steadily because of the burden of using 2 number weapons. You got it where it drops 12%. She feels the strain on her body, but she isn't giving up. She's still searching. And you got it where even the scientists, the people working in the office saying like, yo, she's taking on a tremendous amount of stress. Like, yo, she just lost another additional 5%. And I like stuff like this when it happens in series, because I can only imagine how when it gets into anime form, they got the right music playing in the background. You got it where she's trying to locate this core, and you just see how dire the situation is, and everyone's watching it. I can only imagine how amazing and how goated this is going to be when the anime actually, takes this and adapts it. But you got it where she's looking through all these mini cores to locate the true core. And while that's going on, she has a flashback where she thanks her daddy as well as her mom, and how why her dad was so strict. It's a moment where she was asleep as a child, where she was pretending to be asleep, and you have it where the mother says like, yo, I'm gonna have to harden my heart to train her. I'm going to be strict with her, pretty much saying she's going to train her and be rough with her, but that's necessary in order for her to become strong to survive. And once she passed away, it seems as if the father, the general, he took the road that the mom was going to take. So that's what kind of leads me to believe, like, was she stronger than the general at that point in time? I know eventually the general gets labeled as the strongest in the defense force, but I wonder at this point in time, was she the strongest, and that's why she was going to be the one who trained Kikoru, but she she died, and because of that the general had to take her place, because the mom was telling the general like, yo, I'm gonna have to harden my heart to her, so you're gonna have to give her all the love she needs. And this was before her passing. So once she passed, it was the general who said like, yo, I will take the responsibility that my wife had, and I will train my daughter to be the strongest. So he was pretty much a stand-in for the mom. That's why I'm really curious about who was stronger at that point in time. But you have it where Kikoru finally locates it. She locates the real core of this ancient kaiju, and she says like, yo, I can see it from the signal. It's the control center, the main core. She's sharing the location with everybody. People are shouting, well done to Kikoru. Then you have it where this ancient kaiju giant hand goes to smack Kikoru. And at that point in time, Kikoru is unable to avoid the hit because her output drops even more. Her output decreases even more, and she gets smacked by this ancient kaiju, and this blow looks devastating. You got it where everybody's screaming like, yo, she just lost another 15%. She's at her limit. And you got it with Kafka himself. He's screaming her name and he's running in her direction. But then that's when she shows how strong she is. She's like, yo, stay back. Didn't I tell you, Kafka, like, yo, I'm done being rescued. And that means that moment when her father got absorbed by number 9, and she was there helpless on the battlefield and just had to bear witness to it, and Kafka ended up having to save her as well as Geen. She felt responsible for everything that happened. She felt that if she hadn't been that weak on the battlefield, maybe they could have stopped number 9 from getting away back then, keeping this instance from happening, not knowing that it would have made the ancient kaiju come to the forefront back then and there. But you have it where she's been blaming herself this whole time. She's been seeing herself as this pathetic loser who had to be rescued and saved on the battlefield. And so now on the battlefield, she doesn't want to be that person. She doesn't want to be the person that's saved by another. She wants to be the person that saved people. And when you think about when we first seen her on her very first mission, when these guys were trying to get into the defense force, remember, she was running around saving everybody, saying no one dies as long as I'm on the battlefield. And I feel like that was a callback. This moment right here was a callback to that moment back then when we first got introduced to her.
No quitters and no casualties. Not when I'm on the battlefield.
I really like that about her character. I really like this moment in the chapter. And then she says like, yo, resuming mission. She picks up her gun, and you have it where she's thinking about her father, and she's saying like, yo, I'll be okay now. You know, no matter what dilemma I may face, no matter what kaiju I may stand against, I won't give in. And then you have it where you got old girl shouting that they're pretty close to being in the path of the railgun. And you have it where Kikoru's thinking to herself like, yo, Captain, Mama, Daddy, I'll surpass them all. She was like, yo, I'll be the strongest defense force officer there ever was. And I love this fact. Now, she's not, I'm guessing she's not considering Kafka to be a defense force soldier because he's in his kaiju form. But you have it where Kafka is understanding where she's coming from. He's seeing her attack that's distracting the kaiju, and he's taking advantage of it to actually punch and knock this ancient kaiju in the path of the railgun. And you got it where old girl jumps on. She says the target point has been reached, and Kafka calls out to Mina, and you have it where she's on the railgun and she says locked on, and that's how the chapter ends. This shit was goated as hell. I really love this chapter. It was goated as hell. But like I said, I still want Reno to be involved, and I'm thinking there's going to be a situation in the next chapter where maybe the ancient kaiju is going to try to get out the way, and then that's when Reno Ice is going to come, freeze it in place long enough for Mina to get off the shot, expose the core. Kafka's going to go in there, hit it with everything he got, destroy the core, and then he might even have it where Kikoru or somebody like goes and save him from the explosion that's going to come from the core detonating. I don't know. I just see something like that going down. I could be wrong, but either way, man, amazing chapter. Gotta wait 2 more weeks, man. Damn. The railgun is dope though. I just like the visor over her eyes, and just how you can see the lock on target. I really like the design of this, you know what I'm saying, of the visor. But I would still like for Mina to get a numbers weapon and something that's more mobile, because this is like a stationary cannon. Like, she has to go to the cannon. It's not like she could take it with her, which is one of the downfalls, because she could have been helped them out on the battlefield had that been something she had on her. Maybe she will get a number weapon at some point, but if she's this powerful without a numbers weapon, imagine how powerful she will be once she get one. But let me know your thoughts on this chapter down below. And if you like this video, thumb it up, please subscribe, hit the bell, and I will catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace.